Hello, guys. You're welcome to this session on Read with Genius on the High Court of Poetry. This is a poetry reading series brought to you by the kind courtesy of the High Court of Poetry, where we'll be helping you together with my colleagues to understand poetry and what it entails. Through this series, we'll try our best possible to read to you some poems by renowned poets in history and also tell you what the poem is made of, what comes together to make the poem, and some of the literary devices that are used in the poems. So, for our maiden episode on today, we are coming to read a poem by a renowned poet who lived in the 16th century. And of course, we are going to read a poem to the virgins to make much of time, written by poet Robert Herrick. The poem was actually published in 1648 as part of Robert's poetry collection, that's Hesperides. And this poem has inspired great people because it was written in the art form seize the day, that is Carpe diem. So Carpe diem literally translates as seize the day, which kind of let people to understand how they can utilize their present life to get a fruitful future. So the poem that I'm about to read was also featured in one of the renowned and famous movie, that is Dead Poets Society, which was released in 1989 with Robin Williams starring as the lead actor. So in the next few minutes, follow me as we read the poem. To the virgins to make much of time. Gather ye rosebuds while ye may. Old time is still a flying, and this same flower that smiles today, tomorrow will be dying. The glorious lamp of heaven, the sun, the higher he is a getting, the sooner will his race be run, and rarer he is to setting. That age is best which is the first, when youth and blood are warmer, but being spent the worst and worst. Times still succeed the former. Then be not coy, but use your time, and while ye may, go marry, for having lost but once your prime, you may forever tarry. So that is the poem to the virgins to make much of time. So the poem has been written in the quatrain style. And when we talk of quatrain, it means that it is written in 4 lines per a stanza. So each stanza is made of 4 lines, and the entire poem is written in 4 stanzas. So 4 lines per a stanza and 4 stanzas in the entire poem, making it a total of 16 lines in the poem. What you can understand from the poem is that structure, and by structure, the poem has been written in the rhyme scheme A B A B, C D C D, E F E F, G H G H. So it makes it a lyrical and enthusing for its reader to grasp the rhythm and sound pattern in this poem. So we can realize from this poem that Robert Herrick actually expressed his mastery over literature by using some of the key literary devices. And in our reading, you could observe the use of alliteration, there was personification, and of course, metaphor. Together, these conveys a person's plea easily to the reader. So a harmony of these literary devices coming together will help us to actually understand what he's conveying to the reader. The choice of the title is apt, and it kind of like brings you, the reader, someone who has first seen the title alone, it will bring you to read the entire poem. The virgins. Now we are looking at it, to the virgins. The poet means in this, he's talking of virgin, and when we look at virgin, it signifies youth, it signifies something that is pure, something that is pristine, something that is serene. So, which means that the virgins at that gayer moment, you are still fresh, you are still someone who is devoid of troubles and wants. You are still in a very fine state. So he used to the virgins, that means to we, the youth. So, and he's calling us that we should make the best out of time. So, while the virgin may represent feminine, it actually cuts across gender. It is not referring to only female. It represents all people in their gayer stage of life. Now, going through this point, myself and you would understand, as I told you earlier on, that he actually made use of alliterations, he made use of metaphor, and he also made use of personification. So, in this poem, as we read, going back to the lines, you saw, gather ye rose buds while ye may. And rose buds, when you look at rose buds, the buds are actually a vegetative part of a plant where new leaves can sprout from the stem of a plant. So we as youth, we are termed as rose buds. And rose, as you know, rose is a very expensive and adorable flower that each person wants to give to a loved one. So at this stage, the youth are a group of people that everyone wants in their life, everyone wants. And so we are still the buds of this rose who would eventually sprout to form into new flowers that will be useful to society. So in this, you can look at the literal devices that has been conveyed in there. Now he tells us that the glorious lamp of heaven, the sun, the glorious lamp of heaven, the sun. So he has actually signified the sun with what? The lamp. And when you look from earth, if you look into the sky, you see that the sun hangs as if it is a lamp that lights up the whole world. Similarly is the moon. Now he's telling us the higher he is getting, as the sun comes out at the east, it eventually moves across the horizon. And the higher it moves, then it is telling us that its race, its journey is eventually coming to an end. So that tells us that youth, from that gayer stage of our lives, we are still children, we are still young, we are very strong. But as time moves, as age progresses, then it means that we are also eventually going to our weakest point. Physically, emotionally, and all aspects of life, we will lose our strength, we will lose our capabilities. So at this stage that you are so strong, then you have to utilize that period before you get to a stage that you would not be able to actually make the best out of time. That age is best, which is the first, when youth and blood are warmer. So in this, you can see it is very clear to the understanding of the reader that the first or the earliest stages of a human being, of an individual, is a time that the person is very strong and will be able to execute anything that you give to the person. That is the point that they are very daring to do and to challenge themselves. Now, at that stage, the blood is still warm and strong and signifying the youthfulness in the person. But as the age progresses, then the blood would lose its warmth. That means that it will cool down, and at that stage, you'll not be able to actively do activities as you used to do. Then be not coy, but use your time, and while ye may, go marry, for having lost but once your prime, you may forever tarry. And so here he is admonishing us. Robert is admonishing myself and you, the youth out there, to embrace our present. Let us make a very good use of our present life so that we will get the best out of it before old age descends upon us and we'll not be able to do the things we do. So thank you so much for your time today. What I have personally learned is that you have to seize the day. You are the only one who can make your life best, and that is usually done at the younger age. They say catch them young. So if you want to succeed in life, then start as early as possible. If you want to become something, then start at your youthful age, and life is going to be a well-lived one. I hope you learned something. If you got something today, kindly leave it in the comment section, and don't hesitate to follow us on Twitter at the Court of Poetry. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook at the High Court of Poetry, or also follow us via email at the Court of Poetry. Thank you so much and have a good day. Bye bye.